hard it is to cage an elephant? Cage the Elephant return with an album called Neon Pill, inspired by death, loss of friends, and depression. This could get cagey. We're reviewing this one and then ranking their entire catalog because I've heard every song ever by Cage the Elephant. Heck, I'm even ranking the band in my list of bands, so stick around to the end for all that information and more. Cage the Elephant are a band that have been on my periphery of listening until now. They aren't in my personal ranking system until the end of this video, although a new class of bands is kind of taking over my list in 2024 that was once dominated by 90s alternative rock bands. These newer class of bands are getting in there. So look out, Green Day. Cage the Elephant are coming for you. I don't think they'll shake Green Day from the #1 spot. Ludicrous, right? But we shall see. Jose, can you see that neon pill? Crafted by pain, which means it's probably good, right? Like if it's made by just horrible depression and loss and suffering and death, it's got to be good. Neon Pill has Neon Pill has all the sonic etchings of a Cage the Elephant record, and the music, for the most part, doesn't steal the show from the lyrics of this thing, which are the crux of this project. It's clear that the words are very important to what's happening here, while Brad, Jared, Nick, and Matthew do a wonderful job at creating an equally depressing and rocking background for which the other singing Matthew, because there's an instrument Matthew and there's a singing Matthew, can harness his sadness. This album has a great set list and setup for non-failure. Jose! The opener, Hi-Fi, for me paints a picture of being out with friends that perhaps want to party a little bit harder than I do. I push myself, but I'm tired. Oh God, so tired. And you feel uncool and old, and you just want to go home, but you continue the night, and it's rough, and it's those emotions. Rainbow is a joyous moment in a nightmare scenario, speaking of a person that brings joy to you even as pain is mentioned again and again in the very short span of music that we've heard so far in these first two songs. The title track is a bit more artistic with lyrics that aren't necessarily telling a linear story, but gets its message across clear as day. On the lake, on the ocean, the message is just reflecting into my eyeballs. I haven't worn sunglasses since like 1990, so. It's about a girl, and as songs go, about 9% of songs are about girls, right? This girl has done him wrong, which is never been heard before in musics. Take that neon peel, girl! There's a lot of loneliness in the tracks like Metaverse and Out Loud, which are anthems of missing your loved ones. Good Time and Shy Eyes both speak of chains, echoing the repetition of pain at the beginning of the record in Hi-Fi and Rainbow, with a clear concept pushing against the rubber sheet for us to see the outline of, like that weird Michael J. Fox movie, I think, The Frighteners. I don't know why I thought of that. However fuzzy or clear this concept may be, it's entertaining, which is what we're here for, right? We're here to be entertained. Are we not? I'm not going to do it. Funky indie rock flavors slather this record from front to back, just like you expect, with subtle shifts in pacing and guitar tingling so that it's not monotone and it's not too gravelly or gravitosity. Hoopa Koopa! What am I doing in between takes? I found that my personal highlight is Silent Picture, with a huge, I don't want to talk about it, I don't want to think about it, I just want the world to disappear, and driving guitars that would almost feel at home on a Green Day record. And is that a bad thing for Cage the Elephant fans? It's a good thing. It's a compliment coming from this channel, from me. Same. The song Same is a dreary and droning penultimate track on Neon Pill, but does become more interesting as it moves along. So maybe it's not droning and dreary. I don't want to play games. Will we ever be the same as the chorus before pianos get slammed shut and we're at the song for the dead? Over the Shoulder sort of makes me regret my choice of Silent Picture for highlight. I'll say that was an early highlight on the record because Over the Shoulder is the masterpiece here. I was clearly wrong about the highlight of this 3 out of 5 record. It's an emotional, solid album and has all the best stuff from Cage the Elephant. How does Neon Pill stack up to the rest of Cage the Elephant's discography? Well, let's rank these 6 albums of indie rock glory, shall we? And remember, you and I have different rankings, and that's a good thing. Please don't burn the world down as I check my microphone to make sure that it's still on, because this is, I've been working hard on this video. Remember, we're different, and that's a good thing. Please don't burn the world down in the comments because I ranked your favorite Cage album lower than mine. It's a beautiful thing. Enjoy my possibly hot takes of this band's catalog because I'm not super familiar with the fandom's interaction with these albums. So I'm just coming into this new as a brand new fan. So I'm becoming a fan. I'm becoming one of you. I have heard all of their albums and it's pretty good. And they're definitely going to get into my ranking system after I rank these. I don't know if they're going to be my list of favorite artists, which this channel is based, is I originally had 230 favorite artists with a list, an auxiliary list of about 100 to 200 other artists. And Cage the Elephant, like I said, have been on the periphery. I think they're going to crack my top 100. We will see. Coming in 6th place and worst Cage the Elephant album for me personally is Mellophobia. I do enjoy tracks like Forever and Teeth, and the rest are okay, but listening to this album in full is not on my radar and likely never will be. It was an okay listen. 5th best Cage the Elephant album goes to Social Cues, which you can stop ranting and raving in the comments right now because we're already past the not so good albums. This one's good. I actually thought that this one could possibly end up my favorite album, so that's how strong this catalog is. But ultimately their other albums had more great songs, whereas this one just had Broken Boy and Skin and Bones that blew my mind. And the rest of the track list, it hits, but not as hard as some of their freaky styly albums from other eras that we're about to praise in this video. There's so much trash in this room, guys. 4th best Cage the Elephant album is going to be the new one, Neon Pill, for reasons we discussed earlier in this video. And for the most part, this album stays consistent in sound and strong in concept as well. The music nearly climbs higher at certain levels, but the singing and lyrical content are gold, and I got to give props where credit is due and credit where I can't afford cars or houses. I spread these ashes. What the heck was that about? Tell Me I'm Pretty comes in as the 3rd best album, so now you can't rage at me in the comments at all anymore, right? This album rocks with songs like Mess Around, Cold, 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 Cold. I gotta open up the window in Spotify to see the rest of the title. Cold, 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 and Trouble. Not multiple troubles, just one troubles. The Underdog cut titled That's Right is it's great as well. It's a lot of fun and it's a great pop song in both writing and production. It deserves more than 14 million streams. Wait. Cage the Elephant are doing pretty well on the streaming numbers. Wow, that's wow, they're big. A big band, real big band. my top two Cage albums nearly had to sword fight each other to break this tie, but ultimately I was able to choose between the two albums pretty easily. To the tiebreaker, I was able to do it up here. We have left, and so the second best loser is Thank You, Happy Birthday. My favorite songs from Thank You, Happy Birthday would be Aberdeen. I think that was one song that really latched me onto this band. Around My Head, and Doctor, 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 help me, help me, help me, help me, Doctor, help me, Doctor, help me, help me, help me, help me, help me, help, 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 Doctor, 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 help me, help me, help me, help me, Doctor, 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 which just might be my favorite Cage the Elephant song of all time. Leave a comment if that is weird. The great Cage the Elephant album, the best one, The Elephant in the Room. I had to say it. I almost feel guilty because of the order of releases that I very rarely do in a ranking, and that is like when like a massive debut is the best. Like with Green Day, for instance, their major label debut, Dookie, it's good. But come on, people. Most of the other Green Day albums are better than Dookie. I know, I'm a crazy person. But with Cage the Elephant, the debut album just is simply their best. It's not that they've gotten worse, but their debut album, in one era, James Brown, Ain't No Rest for the Wicked, Back Against the Wall, Free Love. Give me your complaints about this album, because I can't find any complaints about this Cage the Elephant debut. It's a whimsical delivery of words and music. It's a standout in the world of popular rock music, and that's the world that I know most about. And now, if you're still here after listening to all of these albums and listening to the new one, I've got all these 6 albums in my head, and I've done the math. This is how I rank bands. I see how many songs they have, and in front of me I've got a list of all their albums, and then beside it I've got how many songs I like and how many songs are on the album. And I add those all up, and I see what percentage of the band's catalog I like, and you know what? Cage the Elephant, I like 21.12% of Cage the Elephant's catalog, putting them at my 98th favorite band. They did crack my top 100. They are in between alternative rock band Live and Adele, and I'm just excited that I am now officially a Cage the Elephant fan, and I look forward to them moving up on my list.